what was it? We had foam C, right? But this was very, very choppy price action, right? So I was gonna end up setting a limit here, but I decided not to just because I tried to be more like capital conservative. Also, I probably would have put like my stop loss above this wick, but so it may have ended up playing out, but like I didn't want to risk it, and it looked like at the time that we were gonna take the wick. So I was waiting for like uh, so like I was waiting for basically something like this, and then like we would get a retest of yearly open after taking out the liquidity from Tuesday, but we just completely front ran that. So I decided not to short. We had a yearly open retest yesterday, but I was asleep during this retest, so I should have set a limit, but that's okay because I think we're in an area where it's interesting here, but I think I'm looking a little bit lower for longs. Potentially, I like this area here. We've seen like good buybacks here. Potentially, potentially even taking this wick, I'd be interested in a long here, and then a reclaim I would long that. Just like back here, we swept the low from the 5th of December at 87.9, and we had a strong reaction, right? It reclaimed it very quickly. Strong reaction. That's what I'd be looking for longs on Bitcoin. We could sweep this here as well, um, but I think this area is more confluent. Um, I think it also lines up with a golden pocket from that high over there. Oh, okay, not quite, but it would line up with this local low here perfectly, which would be here. So locally, it'd line up with a 618 golden pocket. So that's what I'll be looking for. If the 618 golden pocket on 76 doesn't hold, then I do think we get a little bit lower, potentially potentially between 86. So this zone here, I'd be looking for longs between like 86.3, which would be the local 786, or the golden pocket from the very low at 80.5 to 94.5 ish. Um, to me, this is like local bullish structure. Like as you can see, like lows are being protected, right? We're making high highs, high lows. But if we look on the daily, it is we are still technically in a downtrend, right? Like so here we had a lower low, we broke structure here, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Like this was just aggressive downtrend. So like there's an argument to be made like we're potentially forming a lower high here. But with that in mind, I think we're still in an area where we don't have to worry about looking for swing shorts just yet. Um, for me, a swing short like that I would plan to hold for potentially like a couple months would be if we get like up here to like 97, 98. That'd be like a good scenario for me to short because it'd be confluent with a golden pocket, right? From the local high at 107 to all the way to the bottom at 80. It would also line up with this like liquidity here, which this is essentially like all equal highs, right? Like all those highs there were protected. Highs there protected, highs there protected. We finally taken out these highs, and I think we're going to take these highs out next. That this also lines up with an imbalance or an FEG on the weekly. There's like a gap in between these two candles, so that's what you call like a. Hold on, let me make it clearer. Like this gap in between these two. If you don't know what that is, it's like it's referred to as an FEG, or some people just call it imbalance or just a gap. And they usually tend to get like retested and filled. Um, if we if we do flip this area, then I'd be a lot more bullish heading into next year. But for now, I will play a swing short here, and I'll wait for confirmation as well. I'll probably wait for structure to like on the lower time frame break down a little bit or show me signs of weakness, before shorting. Like if it's just up only, I don't really want to short that. I would only short like a potentially like a sign of weakness, which would be like a lower time frame breaker structure. So that's something I'm looking out for. Um, but yeah, we are selling off hard today, and there's this chart that like shows the average returns of Bitcoin in 2025, and it shows that like on most Fridays, like on most Fridays um there's been sell-offs, there's been like Bitcoin closing its daily candle red in the whole year, right? So I mean, we're seeing that now. I was just expecting a little push up in New York Open, like around where were we? It was around here. I was expecting more of a push up to around these levels, but unfortunately that never happened. But that's okay. Um, I think this price action this month has been harder to trade than October and November, but I think I still think we get good opportunities. Um, I'll go over ETH now really quick because I think ETH is much more interesting. So ETH is similar. That like is similar to Bitcoin in the sense that it's been taking lows and then bouncing aggressively. So ETH looks a lot stronger locally, right? Like lower time frame. I think potentially, right, if Bitcoin makes a new low, goes to 80K, I think Ethereum would potentially make a higher high. Let me just no, MTF. I think potentially if Ethereum comes to anywhere from 2.9 to 2.7, I think that could be a nice lower high. Because Ethereum has been a lot stronger than Bitcoin. It's been keeping very nice strong structure. It's not taking any like it's not broken structure to the downside at all on the H4 time frame. And I think if potentially we could see 2.9, I think that'd be a good long, maybe a sweep of this wick. If we look at it from higher time frame, also from the April low to the high we made in I believe in August, yeah, August. We've already tested the yeah Malik, I can look at that. We've tested the golden pocket from the low from 1.4 to 4.9. So like this area does make sense to look for longs, right? On ETH. And yeah, lower time frame. Let me see. So today ETH was consolidating sideways, and then just now we had a sweep here. So I was thinking if we broke structure to the upside, I'd set a limit for ETH around here. So if we had broken this candle like this, right? Oh, wait, that's the wrong. Sorry. If ETH had done this, broken structure, I would have looked for a long like on a retest, and then with like stops below like whatever lower high we made. Sorry. Um, Something like this, targeting like potentially like a FEG up there. But we didn't actually break the structure, so instead we broke structure to the downside, and it didn't really give a retest, right? Like it just went like aggressively down only. So that's unfortunate. I'm not really I do sometimes market in my entries, but most of my plays are limit orders. So yeah, I didn't catch the short on this. But to be honest, I didn't think this wasn't looking like a short to me up here. I think even Muro wanted to long. I think he did, but I'm not too sure. But lower time frame, yeah, I'm very interested on ETH for longs. I think, let me see. If we, it depends when this happens. Oh, it looks like it's gonna happen soon. Okay. Potentially, well, I don't like that this is happening on a Friday, but I would have been interested like around here for longs, around the 786 and around this small demand zone here. I would have looked for longs. However, because it's a Friday and we're heading into like New York open close, sorry, New York close, I probably won't set any limits just because it's going to be like more liquid, more manipulative. Potentially, if on Sunday, because on Sundays are usually green in the year. Fridays are usually have a massive sell off, and then Sundays are green. Well, not every Sunday, but like some Sundays do have scan pumps, right? Um, if we're around these levels for ETH, I probably will call a limit if the play is there, right? Like maybe something like this, a reaction, then like consolidation sideways, breaker structure. I noticed that ETH is like very aggressive, lower time frame. So like for example here, we chopped sideways for like how long was this? It was 18 hours. We essentially went like we were like ranging, and then ETH just like exploded up, right? Like $200 move up. So I like this coin. It's good to trade. Unfortunately, here it was ranging and it didn't quite give the breaker shot to the upside. I think that would have been nice to long. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is the reason why this is puking is a Bitcoin, right? Ideally, Bitcoin finds footing around this area. I'd like to think that we have like a mini like lower time frame demand zone here. So this was a mini range and we broke out of it, and this is like the first time we're retesting the zone. So potentially this could be like our first what's it called, like bounce area. I don't know if this will be the low, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. Or if we see something like this, then like starts taking out the lows here, and then like around Sunday time, if we like start reclaiming this wick low here, I will potentially set a limit order around there with stops below like a lower time frame low, and then like if on Sundays, right, usually in the evening there's like a scan pump. It's usually like an institution or like MicroStrategy buying up Bitcoin, so that's what like pushes price up. However, like that usually what I've also noticed with those pumps is on Monday they usually get reversed pretty harshly. So if we go back to this Sunday, I saw on the timeline like this was algo selling, but I mean you could argue this was just like what's it called? This was gonna happen anyway, or like you could have seen this dump in the TA. It was a bit aggressive in my opinion, but I did like the recovery, and that's why I was more bullish after this strong recovery to the upside. Um, yeah, and lower time frame as well. Like we are respecting fibs, right? Like every local low has been at within like a 618 to like a 65. So if we go on the hourly, this to me is very aggressive, but it would make sense to look for longs in this general area. If this wick low here fails to hold, let me delete these for now. If this wick low fails to hold, I'm looking here around these areas, the 786 from 83 or 84. Um, and from there, I would look to long targeting, if not yearly open as a TP like 2 or TP 1, then 97, because that would line up with also, I think I covered this, there's 107 high to the 80k low. That would be the golden pocket here. And that would also, of course, line up with that little wick high that we made that caused this massive aggressive downtrend. Um, let me see. H12. I think H12 structure is interesting. Like, I could see us chopping around here until Christmas time. Um, if we don't decide to I think the more we consolidate here, the better chances there is of us like breaking upwards into the zone, and that would be good for us if we're positioned early, like ideally in the range of like 87 to 89. So yeah, I mean, I think I would probably create a swing long or try to enter a swing long, but I also would be careful of like trimming too early. I usually have three TPs, um 25% at TP1. At TP2 I'll usually do like 50% to like 60%, and then I'll leave a runner for like 5-6R. So in the end I'll be like, I don't know, it ranges, but like it'll be like between 3 to 4R. That's like my ideal, um it's like my what I want to capture ideally. So yeah, you got to make sure to like not aggressively take profits. If the market's chopping, then you can be more aggressive. Let's see. Okay, so Solana on the lower time frame, in my opinion, we're just like in a mini range. I missed this short here because I had this limit order at 145.2, and I got front ran by like, I don't know how much is that, like a couple cents, right? But in my opinion, I think this area is still valid. It would be like so it'd be like a of this small previous range value area. It'd be like a deviation. That would be my idea. And because Solana has been like relatively weaker compared to like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think this could be a good play. For now, I'm not gonna post it in the channel, but if I like the if I think the move up towards there will give me this nice entry, then I will post it. But if we go to like take for example take out like the liquidity at these lows or down here, I'll probably cancel this short because it won't be valid in my eyes anymore. Um, but yeah, for now I'm not too keen on looking for longs on Solana. I'm more interested in looking for longs on Ethereum. It much stronger. But on the higher time frame, on the daily, let me see. Yeah, like for if for some reason we do get if Bitcoin does make a new low, then I expect this to make a new low as well towards this lower time frame, or sorry, higher time frame demand zone. So it's been a demand zone. Clearly signs of reversals in this blue box area between 115 to 90. I'd say 95 is where you'd want to be looking for potentially swings in here. What I would love, the setup I would love is a weekly wick into here and a close back above here. So that would be a weekly SFP. Let me draw it out. Oh, it'd be a weekly SFP, but probably a low time frame like a reclaim entry there that you could find off like an FEG or like a EMA reclaim, whatever the whatever's like whatever lower time frame confidences you guys have. That could be like a really good play in my opinion. But I'd update that. I wouldn't set any limits per se because we could have a situation like here where it just like slams right through it and then it like reclaims after after retesting like the lower end. So you could argue like back here it was like a SFP of that low, but I personally wouldn't have set limits for that. I'd rather wait for the wait for the wick, the sweep, and then reclaim. And on the of course on the weekly time frame it'd be an SFP. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for Solana. As far as shorts, um, higher time frame shorts, I think this box here, which okay, two scenarios in my opinion. Since this is weaker currently, I think currently right it's showing weakness. However, that could change at any moment. So, oh, sorry. Let me. If for example, if Bitcoin like goes parabolic on and like ends up hitting 107K, sweeps out a certain high and starts showing signs of weakness, then I'd be looking at Solana to potentially swing short. And if Solana's around this area and it shows similar signs to like Bitcoin, I would be interested in a short with like my I would put the stop loss above the wick. I can show you guys an example. So I remember I didn't personally short this, but I do remember seeing the setup. We had a lower time frame, like look, higher high, high high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Let me draw it out. Solana was looking very bullish, right? Until basically this wick, where we essentially broke this structure. So on the daily time frame, after this daily close, this was bearish to me. So if a similar thing ends up playing out where like Solana like pumps into a high time frame POI, like the one I showed here, and then it decides to break structure on the daily, I will probably most likely enter like at some sort of retest of like a imbalance or at the golden pocket, right? With well, this is a swing, so the stops are pretty wide, right? 10%. Obviously, I would look for a scalps in there as well, higher R. But even if you had just taken this and even aim for like a free R, right? Like that would have been a nice play, right? Like the daily broke down, you got aggressive selling, we had a bounce into key POI, right? We had this massive gap, plus it was a local fit pool as well, local golden pocket as well. So that was two nice confluences, and then a couple days after that we had October 10th, which was pretty brutal. Um, yeah, I mean even if you had this short on some exchanges, they would have closed their position. But hey, is what it is. I wish I did short this back then. That would have been nice. But back to back to here, right? So if we do get something similar where on the daily we break structure here, like we saw up there, like I showed you guys, if we break a lower time frame, oh sorry, if we break a daily low, I'd look for the retrace back there or retest to get in with stops above the wick, targeting like liquidity or an imbalance potentially, or if I'm extremely bearish high time frame, then I'd aim for new lows. But again, it just depends on the structure on how we get here, and how especially how Bitcoin's looking once it gets to high levels. Because there is a difference between like corrective price action and impulsive. Like corrective is just like price can be going up, but it could technically be argued that it's corrective or still bearish or like heading into bearish POIs just to give another short entry again. And impulsive would be like structures like changed and there's potentially trend change as well, like high time frame trend change. For example, like I'd argue this price action here was corrective. It was like slow grind up, corrective, and then aggressive sell um, post making a new low as well. I would say after the way you know if a price action is impulsive, if it not only breaks a high but closes above it, like this was impulsive, right? So that's when you could have known that this was the trend changing in Solana, and that goes for any chart, right? So right now I'm not exactly seeing um, any signs of what is it? Wait, let me bring up a clearer chart, guys. One sec. I'm not seeing any signs of like impulsive price action because like wrong tool there. So this high led to a new low being made, right? So right now it's just been wicks above, wicks. No daily candle bodies closed above here. In my opinion, I'm not super bullish on this quite yet. If we do like end up closing above there, then that's when I would expect higher targets. Sorry, higher targets of where I mentioned before, between 178 and 169. I think also that's like a good. I think that'd be like a point 0.5 level of, because like you could argue this is like a range. Um, we had range highs there, range lows there, range highs there. If I pull, if I pull it like that, right? I mean, this is a very high time frame volume profile, but you could argue it's valid, right? Like whenever we were reject in 2024, we rejected value area high, 1, 2, and then it finally broke out. Retested it here. It wasn't, the retest wasn't super clean, but it was technically a retest. And then we had another pounce. This was, I believe, Trump launching his meme coin, which was, that was the biggest top signal I've ever seen. Um, and but yeah, and then what followed after was brutal. But to be fair, like we did have a nice recovery, and the top of Solana of in August, oh sorry, in September was a 786, which is insane, right? Like if you guys aren't using fibs, I highly suggest you do. I think they are like one of the most accurate tools you could use, mainly because like most participants like they do use them, but like it's not just like it's not necessarily just retail. Look at them, like it's also like smart money as well. You could argue. Um, but yeah, like a lot of smart traders I followed and learned from do incorporate fibs into their system. So I do highly recommend you use them. But yeah, um, that's it for Soul High time frame. Is there any coins you guys want me to look at? Just let me know. I'll go over I'll go over Farcoin real quick. But if you have any requests, just let me know. So Farcoin, it's interesting. We have on the daily, we do have this daily imbalance here, which, in my opinion, I think should provide a reaction. Also, given the fact that it lines up perfectly with the 618, the golden pocket. So this is kind of, I'm not gonna alert this, but like I am watching it for now. If I like the structure as we head down there, like, and then like, like something like that, I would probably, I'd want it to be like a quick wick. Like for example here, we had a quick wick into there, but we didn't completely fill the imbalance. So I think it's still valid. And it also, of course, lines up with the fib pool. So that's something I'd be looking for. I would hate to see like to see it just like aggressively go down and like not really respect this and just kind of break through, which is why like I've got my stops right under the 786 because in my opinion if it would break this it would go probably make new lows. And also the entry kind of somewhat the reason why I'm entering here is because I would be scared to get front ran. But if you want like a sniper entry, technically like right on that wick low or like right under it, so like price would like come under and sweep under and it would, but it would just be like a daily SFP. That could be like a really nice sniper long. And then you'd be targeting if you thought like the market was bottoming out around there and it was confluent with Bitcoin also hitting some key levels, then you'd think yeah you'd probably target either liquidity there or potentially liquidity that would form so after the move down or after we get filled. So like a certain lower high for TP1, another one for TP2, and so on, and like you'd leave a runner for like these highs or if you're feeling bold, like I don't know if we get this, but if we do, like that could be really nice. But for now, that's a little bit far-fetched, in my opinion. Someone said hype. Okay, hype is interesting. I'm gonna look at it on a. Which chart has the most data on hype? Is it? I know it's not Binance because Binance took a while to list hype. I think Bybit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. This has got enough data. Um, yeah, this has got enough data. So, okay, because it's got the April lows here. Okay, let me. I don't think this wick was is not this wick low was not on like the actual hyperliquid chart in I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It was not, well, it was on Binance, right? But like this wick did not happen on the actual hyperliquid DEX. Like I couldn't see it at the time, at least. It did not. It was just on Binance that it went to $20. So like, but yeah, man, like you could argue this wick low filling would line up perfectly with like the 786 from the bottom. But in my opinion, like hype doesn't look too bad here for a swing long. Any price from down from basically 28 all the way down to 20.8 is like a either like a spot bag buy or a swing long. The only thing is like if we get like another liquidation event for whatever reason, like I wouldn't really want to be in a swing long because you probably get liquidated above like anything above 2x. So I'd probably rather buy spot and like TWAP my way down. But if you're looking for like a strict long and lower time frame, let me see. Um, H1 structure doesn't look necessarily that great. Like for example, like we failed to break that high. It literally just tapped it perfectly and nuked. Mm, I don't know, man. Like we've consistently been taking the lows, so I'm not like too confident on the lower time frame to take along just yet. I would want a little bit more like displacement to the upside, so like something like this, and then look for a pullback around here. I think that'd be wiser than just like trying to, because at the moment it's just lower high, sorry, lower highs, lower lows, with no like displacement to the upside. And currently it's just protected lows, right? So, but I'd say I'm gonna have limits for 29.9. If we do decide to break this high, sorry, one sec. If we do break this high and displays above, probably on the 4 hour, I would want a 4 hour close above here. I'll look for a lower time frame pullback to get into. But again, like, yeah, I mean, hype doesn't look on the daily, right? It is like on a downtrend, but like again, we're at the local. Actually, no, this is higher time frame fib, so this is like the area to bounce from. Or otherwise, it's probably we're filling the wick low if we don't bounce from here. So yeah, it is. I always say like must bounce areas are like probably the best risk to reward. Like for example, this $9.60 bottom here, like believe it or not, right? Like what did hype launch at? Like it was like it was around $2, right? Hype launched at like its TG was around $2. Like so if you go on the hyperliquid chart on the hyperliquid exchange and draw a fib from like when it launched that to like this high, if I remember correctly, like it lined up, like the bottom lined up almost, okay, wait, this is, I'm just gonna move this. Like the bottom almost lined up with the 786 from like the Pico, from basically TGE to from the top there. Okay, well on the Bybit chart it front runs, but I think on the Hyperliquid chart, like the Pico bottom of Hyperliquid was the 786, which is kind of insane if you think about it. So if we do for whatever reason um, don't bounce here, right, and there is more aggressive selling, I would look for a retest of 20, and I think that'd be like the long, like the bottom. Maybe like if not wait for a wick, then I guess a limit. But I would want to see a strong reaction if I'm leaving a limit. I probably wouldn't hold all the way to stop loss. Um, I guess the safer play would be to like wait to see the reaction here, then wait for like the SFP or reclaim whatever. Like look for a lower time frame entry there, and that'd be like your long, right? Like a dip into to potentially like an imbalance here with your stops at the lows for like a really tight move, like a it'd be like quite a tight stop, but your risk to reward would be insane, right? If you're targeting the highs, it'd be 26, like around 20 plus RR. But if you're leaving just a limit, um, you know, maybe 10R if it goes back to the highs. Again, it depends, man. Like how it looks like when it gets there. I don't want it to be just like I would prefer it to be like a lower high, lower low sort of like clean structure because like because then it would be easier for me to like mark out invalidations and set TPs at certain highs, right? Um, but yeah, those are my thoughts on hype for now. I think this is a decent area, but like we still need confirmation to long. And if this fails to hold, I think we go down here to around 20. Um, someone said Doge. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries, man. Um, I don't know what that was. Did you guys see that? Some Doge came on my screen. I'm listening for Doge. Okay, cool. So I kind of like Doge because it's like it'll go sideways for like it'll consolidate for for months and then like have these crazy moves. So like risk to reward perspective, like it definitely is there. I'll start on the weekly time frame, then like go down time frames. Muro entry came here at 0.1344. Let me look at that. 0.1344. Oh, that looks like a sniper entry. Like, okay, yeah, that's like pretty much range lows, right? Like, yeah, that's a good area. I like that. I do like that. On the higher time frame, let me look at the higher time frame first. Mm, yeah, I don't think Doge is I think for like a higher time frame swing long, I'd want to close back above 14.25 because that was the previous what's it called, range low. And like every time we sweep 14.25 before, it would just be like a weekly SFP. It would just be a wick under and close back above. And it gave off like 200% move. Oh, sorry, 100% moves to the upside. So that's like, but that would be for like higher time frame swing along, right? On the lower time frame, let me see. Yeah, I can see why Muro's long in here. It's a good area. I'm not sure. I don't know where it stops. Where's this stop loss? This is like it's a great entry. good R. I imagine it's like a 4 RR. So like maybe these like highs up here. 0.13. Oh yeah. So it'd be like 0.1344 and then stop 0.13. Yeah. I mean, if if Bitcoin finds footing soon, like this is pretty much the bottom. This will be like a on the H4. It'd be like an SFP of this wick low here. So that'd be really clean. Actually, it'd be like double confluence because it'd be this low here as well that it's swept already. Swept two lows in one, and if it closes above, that's an SFP. So yeah, that would be a clean play. I want to delete that though because it's not my play. Um, but yeah, Doge technically bearish structure, but you could argue like it is shifting because if this low had a H4 close below, so like with displacement essentially is what that's called, it would be a lot more bearish here. But we close with an SFP, which, by the way, if you don't know what an SFP is, it means swing failure pattern. So it's essentially when you go below a low or a high, but you close above it, which is either if it's above a high, it's bearish. If you close below, if you close below a high, it's bearish. If you close above a low, it's bullish. So it's actually pretty. It's a good confluence to have sometimes. But when you're in a trend and like highs are protected, so they don't really ever retest. So like you can see here, this range high was never tested. That would have been a nice short if it did H4 SFP, but unfortunately it didn't. So yeah, but no, yeah, I can see why Mirror is long in here. It's like a range. It's literally do or die. This area here, like it has to bounce here. Otherwise, it's Goblin Town, man. It's Goblin Town from here if it doesn't. Like if it doesn't hold here, it probably goes back to like 9 cents. So essentially, like the area that we were at on October 10th, or sorry, that we went to in October 10th. Mm, I don't think I don't think it's with some of these wicks is they're not there on every chart. Like if you look in Coinbase, we're already under the October 10th low. So like it's like like what wick do you use? I guess if you're bearish on Doge, you'd be targeting the Binance low, but you could argue like on if you look at it on Coinbase, we're already below the low. So it's like what liquidity do you target? Like I guess that like April lows. If we sweep April lows on the weekly and close back above, I'm gonna long Doge. I'm probably gonna full port long Doge. Not actually full port, but you know what I mean. If we close back up like above the weekly play, I think that could be like a great swing long. But like this, I wouldn't expect this to happen soon. Like this would be probably in a couple weeks down the line. Um, but yeah, is there any other charts you guys want me to look at? I'll look at one more. I'll look at Asta, which I think is I was looking at it earlier, and it does look interesting here. So we had this wick low from like October 10th, right? And we've already filled it completely. Like that wick's been completely filled. Now it's kind of been like chopping around this area, but you could argue like if you look at it on the like H4 time frame, like yeah, we are downtrending now, but like technically like there was a low put in here, there's a low put in there. So the second we lost that low, it was Doomtown, right? But then we've reclaimed it here, fell back below, and now we've retested this like little mini low that we had before. So if we get back above here, after already putting in, sorry, after attempting to take out like lows, but not doing that successfully, I would probably attempt a long here, and that would be like probably like an imbalance, and then it depends. It depends. It'd be a swing. It'd be a swing that it'd be like a 4 hour swing that I'd be looking at that. If it does reclaim um, with conviction, right? This high, invalidation would be like either this wick or that wick. Yeah, I think it's a good R, but like I won't set obviously limits now. Well, I can't, right? It's above uh CMP. Um, but yeah, I will. This is one that I have on my watch list that I believe CZ, if he's gonna if CZ's gonna pump a coin, it's gonna be Asta, right? I think the Dex narrative, the pub Dex narrative is only gonna get bigger. So you know, this is one to definitely keep an eye for. But yeah, is there any more questions, guys? Let me know. Okay. I'll look at one more coin just before we wrap up. Someone asked me to look at BCH last stream. So we still haven't gotten what I wanted, but I'm actually going to set limits. Because if we do sweep this low, like, let me redraw that. I'll draw it with an arrow actually. So say we level high structure, something like that. Like I'd be looking for, I essentially want this little, wait, sorry, let me remove this alert line. I would want, oh, sorry. I'd want like the sweep of there to be like quick, to be an SFP, and a strong reclaim following after. This would be something like potentially maybe like this, targeting those highs there. I'll see though, because I'm not gonna set limits. This is just, you know, something I would look for, right? A breaker structure to be, or to be honest, it would be something more like this. Like I'd enter in a bigger retrace of like a confirmed, like, structural move there. That's probably what I would look for. Like I guess similarly here, right? Oh no, where would be a good example of this? Honestly, like I guess here. Actually, did that take? No, that didn't take the low. Here we had a lower high that led to that sweep of that low, and I bet you on the daily that was an SFP. Yeah, well, it was a strong SFP. In my opinion, if you had waited for the daily close, you wouldn't even got an entry, right? So that's the only thing with waiting for the daily confirmation. However, lower time frame, right? Maybe like 15 minutes. Let me see. I guess you would have waited for the high here. So do you guys see how these are all just M15 wicks basically, and then we had a strong candle close above. So you could have looked for like a re-entry from a retrace from like this little local swing low, all the way to that local swing high that we had there, and like entered here with like stops below the level, and like I'm sure this was like a H1 sweep or something. So that was a H1 sweep into like, I'm sure like that would have been clean. That would have been very clean. Obviously this is, oh well, this is hindsight speaking, but if something like this similarly plays out to what I'm looking for here, where is it? Yeah, if something plays out here, then I will definitely, and that'd be like on the, because this is more higher time frame, right? But yeah. Also, let me check where the EMA is. Oh, okay. So okay, that would be below the EMA, but to be fair, well, to be fair, this is H4 EMA, so the daily is probably closer to here. So we'll see. But yeah, if you guys got any more tickets, just let me know. Otherwise, I think this is good to wrap it up. No? Okay. I'll look at one more. B&B. Oh wow, that never. Unfortunately, that short never filled. I like B&B, but like, I don't really like how it's like on the H4 B&B has like displaced down here. But then it did like reclaim it, so I guess this could be like on the daily would just be like a sweep, and then your inval would be like there, and then you'd be targeting those highs. And these are like, those are equal highs because that wick never actually touched the wick that we made on Thursday, so that's still a valid high. I'm probably not gonna enter this here. I probably won't enter this at all, unless if we're still around the same levels on Sunday, then maybe I'll alert this. I wanna set an alert, but like, yeah, like if on Sunday we are like chopping around here, or like maybe even like early Sunday, right? I think this could be a nice play for a scam pump. Like, it would make sense, right? Like on Sundays we usually see illiquid, you know, moves up, and this if this was around this area, that like it would make sense around this range low here. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on this. I think this is a good setup. But yeah, guys, I think I want to wrap it up here. Bilal, did you record this? I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Oh, okay, cool. You did. Okay, perfect. Yeah, man. I think we're good to end it here. Thanks, guys, for dropping in. I appreciate it. I'll be posting more analysis this weekend on some pairs. If you guys want to let me know when what pairs you were looking at, just let me know in chat, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, sounds good, man. Peace out, lads. Catch you guys later.